Okay, hi everyone, and welcome to Level Up Your Trading, Achieve Control and Consistency. So I want everyone to stay to the end because I'm going to be offering one of our courses for free. And the value of that course is $497. So stay to the end, focus on what we're going to cover here. It's very, very important. So imagine this. You're driving down the highway with a friend, maybe this car, and you're driving about 100 miles an hour. And your friend just gave you the wheel of the car, puts it on cruise control for a bit, gives you the wheel of the car, and it says drive. But the problem is you don't know how to drive. How do you feel? Pretty scary, hey? So how do you feel? Pretty scared. Now, guess what? Most people approach trading like this. It's very easy to open up a trading account, but they don't know how to trade. It's pretty scary. There's a risk of losing money and all the other psychological issues that you may have anyway get amplified to the extreme when you've got no idea what you're doing. Now, I want to share with you first a trader success story. So Jane Sama, she went from beginner to consistent profits in 3 months. She had no prior experience of trading. And she just went through my training, came and joined my trading room for a few months until she basically understood what she needed to do. And this is what she said about the training. I found the best thing, now listen to this carefully, I find the best thing was knowing what you are doing gives you the confidence in your trades. And the fear of losing was gone. That's psychology in a nutshell. The fear of losing was gone once you have confidence. Trading had become a lifestyle, no longer a binary gamble or a nervous hope job. So this presentation is going to cover on 3 major parts of trading. As you know, it's all about trading psychology. Now, I'll offer you one thing, one point on each of these areas, and then we'll go into the rest of the presentation. So trading psychology, if I were to teach you one thing about trading psychology, it's this: confidence based on your ability to execute your proven trading plan that fits your personality and lifestyle. In other words, knowing what to do to get the results and doing it. So once you have confidence, fear goes away. And once you've proven what you're doing, then it's just a matter of execution. And a lot of what people have in the ways of issues with trading psychology disappear. Another thing that's very important is trading discipline. So if I were to sum this up in one word, discipline is the ability to follow your trading plan. Okay, it's as simple as that. If you don't have a trading plan, you cannot be disciplined. Full stop. Discipline is defined as the ability to follow any set of rules. So you must have the rules or the plan in place in order to follow them. And the final thing, the area that we will cover with one thing, is trade time management. Now, how do you deal with time management as a trader? Well, guess what? Most people spend most of their time actually executing trades, but that's just part of the story. This is what you should be doing and how you should be allocating your time as a trader. A third of your time should be in preparation, preparing to trade. A third of your time should actually be spent actually trading, executing of trades, or waiting for trades to set up, or that part of the trading. And then guess what? A third of your time should be spent reviewing. So look at your trading now and ask yourself, and again, for those of you who are here live, you can type in the chat area. Let me just see if I can see the chat. I can. Let's just put this down. Okay. I don't know if I can see. Can I see everyone? Okay, I'm looking at the webinar. Okay, so a third preparation, a third trading, and a third review. And bear in mind that most people spend all of their time doing this part. Okay, so let's move on. The agenda, this is what I want to cover. Now, how do you get to those three areas? Well, firstly, like with any business, you need to have goals. You need to know exactly why you're doing what you're doing. First, we're going to go into setting goals in a second. You have to define what your edge is. Without an edge, there's no chance of you being successful as a trader. I'm going to introduce you to my edge, the Trade Smart Edge, and how we trade every day in our trading room. And towards the end, I'm going to invite you to come and join our trading room. Then I'll show you the framework you need to have in place. That if you don't have this framework in place, you will not succeed as a trader, and the exact process that you need to go through on a daily basis. And then what I'll do is open up to audience questions and answers. So here's me speaking at the Traders Expo in New York not so long ago, and also invited not so long ago to speak in China at the Boga Investment Forum, which I believe is the only investment forum they have in China. And you can see I was over here, and you can see maybe other speakers that you may know, like Jack Schwager, the author of The Market Wizards, over here. So I was part of the lineup with ministers of finance in various countries, and whatever, they called me up and invited me to speak. I agreed, and this is me speaking there. Quick disclaimer, you can read that. Here's a little bit more about me for those of you who are here for the first time. I've been trading for many years, almost 20 years now, and my background's in computer science. And yeah, I started my first job out of university working at Credit Suisse in both London and New York. TradeSmart's a trading education business, and we focus primarily on teaching you how to read the market professionally and how to run a successful trading business, including how to develop your own trading plan and strategies which fit your personality and lifestyle. That's the key. Trading is a business, so treat it as a business. Hobbies cost money. Businesses make money. So if you have to treat your trading the correct way. So let's go a little bit over goals. Again, it's so important to know. The first question is why. You have to ask yourself why. Why do I want to trade? Okay. Now, why is that so important to ask why? Because many times, if you have a big enough why, you'll figure out how. So first of all, you have to start with the why. Most people start with the how and get stuck. So have a big enough why for why you want to trade. This gives you a big picture reason why you're doing what you're doing. So when you go through the development curve as a trader, and you know, which is usually you fail your way to success, you realize that failing is part of that journey. And once you have a big enough why, you'll keep going along that journey. Do you really know why you want to trade? For those of you here live, you can type it into the chat area why you're trading. And it's so, so important to have that down, to have it clear. And it's a good thing to have down clear why you do anything in life. What's the reason why you're doing it? And guess what? To make money is not a good enough reason, because you can make money in many different ways. Why trading? You see people typing freedom. Freedom's good. Freedom of time, freedom to do what you want, when you want. So why are trading goals important? Because they give you focus and direction. And like with anything else in life, if you have no focus and no direction, you don't know where you're heading to, and you don't know where you are in relation to where you need to get to, then you're not going to get there. It's very unlikely. You have to know always where you are. You locate yourself on the journey, figure out where your destination is, much like using a map. You have to know firstly where you want to go. Then you need to find yourself on the map so you know where you are, and then you need to plan a route of how you're going to get there. It's no different with trading or any business for that matter. And guess what? If you break up your trading goals into smaller goals, they're going to give you satisfaction when you achieve them. And it's going to provide you a positive trading experience or a learning experience when you're learning how to trade. It's so important to do that. So you might not yet be a successful trader, but you're on the path and you know where you are on that path and you hitting those milestones one after the other. So what are your trading goals? Again, for those of you who are watching this live, maybe write down now, and you can type them in the chat area. What are your trading goals? What do you want to achieve, for example, with your trading? And I'll give you an example. The first thing could be to acquire expertise in reading the market. If you don't know how to read the market and you're a technical trader or you're trading price action, for example, or even reading the tape, if you want to call it that. I used to read the level 2 in time and sales open book of the New York Stock Exchange and used to understand what the New York Stock Exchange specialist was doing, even without looking at charts. And that's how I was initially trained to trade. You should also set challenging and feasible goals, okay? They have to challenge you. You have to move beyond your comfort zone. Otherwise, you'll never grow. You should also set goals according to your level of mastery. Don't set a goal to make a certain amount of money if you say if you don't know how to read the charts yet. This doesn't make any sense. You want to set a money goal once you're already consistently profitable, for example, and you want to start upping your risk size per trade. And goals should be realistic, which leads to a sense of accomplishment and progress. Again, as long as you feel you're moving in the right direction and you're making progress, even though usually in the development process as a trader, you're not making money, or certainly not enough to live on. So you have to go through the learning curve. I was reading a book today about levels of development. And one of those levels was called going through the stage where you're learning. It's so where you're kind of doing like an internship, for example, and then you get to a stage of mastery. But the mastery stage doesn't come before the internship stage. You need to actually go through the ropes, practice, learn from your mistakes, and then you get to a level of mastery. But once mastery is achieved, that's not the end of the story. You have to make sure that you keep there, that you stay there. The next thing you need to ask yourself is, how committed are you? How committed are you to this goal of yours of becoming a successful trader? Once you know why you want to do it, then it's much easier to be committed to the why. If you've got no idea why you're doing it, it's much more difficult to be committed. So will you invest in education and training? I mean, if you want to become a doctor, you can't just get that from going to a course online or from reading a book. No, you need to practice. You need to go, and you need to work under other doctors that have more experience than you, especially if you want to be a surgeon, for example. You need to get real-time practice to actually do it, make mistakes and learn from them. You need to also get the foundations down first. That's why you go to medical school. And that's the same with anything else. So you need to kind of get the foundations down and invest in yourself, invest in education and training. Training is beyond it, is actually doing it. Will you work on yourself? Again, becoming a successful trader involves self-mastery. Will you work on yourself? Many beginning traders don't understand that. And when I was, if I would tell myself that as a beginning trader, I'm like, what are you talking about? What's that got to do with working on yourself? I just take trades, As you get more deeper into trading, you realize, yes, it is to do with self-development and mastering yourself and peak performance. Will you learn from your mistakes and failures? Again, mistakes or failures are just stepping stones to success. It's just what you have to go through in order to become a successful trader. And this is the real question here. Will you do whatever it takes? As in, when you set out on your journey, it's almost like all the successful traders that I've spoken to, that I've trained over the years, have this plan A attitude. There isn't a plan B. It's a plan A. I'm going to do it and I'm going to succeed. And people, you say, what's the plan B? There isn't a plan B. It's plan A. I'm all in and I'm going to succeed. That's the level of commitment you need to have in order to succeed as a trader. Now, it doesn't always mean if you have that level of commitment, you will succeed, okay? But if you don't have that level of commitment, the chances of succeeding are not very high. So here's the next thing that you need. This sets the background before you even start on this endeavor that we call trading. Once you decided you want to do it and you're 100% committed and you've got to go and get yourself educated, get yourself trained, maybe get yourself into a group of like-minded traders who are doing what you want to do and are some of them successful, some of them are more successful than you, some of them are further along their journey, so you can, be part of a community is a good way to do it. Then you need to define your edge. Now, what is an edge? So an edge is an advantage you have over others. That's what an edge means. What advantage do you have? So if you're a technical trader, you need to ask yourself this question: what exactly is a technical edge in the markets? Now, this is where it becomes very interesting. You have to recognize when the odds in the market are in your favor. That's when you have an opportunity, a trading opportunity. But also ask yourself, who is on the other side of your trade? If you don't know, then maybe you're the novice trader with a professional trader on the other side of your trade. Now, there are many situations that I've been in as a trader that I've lost on trades, but they've become my strength over time because I've learned that this is how the market moves in order to knock out weaker traders from positions. So what I do now is instead of getting in where I used to get in, I wait for where I used to get stopped out, and that's where I get into the trade, if that makes sense. You only know that if you actually track your trades and you watch the market and you record what happens. So the question is, and I want everyone here and anyone watching this to ask yourself the question, do you know what your edge is? And this is the real crux of it, because if you cannot clearly explain your edge, you do not have one. And here's the part that many of you will find very difficult to hear, but I'm going to say it straight, and it's the truth. If you don't have an edge, do not trade. Okay, if you've got no idea why you should be making money consistently in the market and exactly what your edge is, then you don't have one. If you can't explain it clearly what you're doing in the market, then you've got no idea what you're doing. And all those problems that we said before are gonna raise their heads. For example, all the psychological issues that you may have, it's gonna amplify them. It's gonna be so much worse if you've got no idea what you're doing as a trader. You're gonna be losing money and being wrong is, we don't like that experience as human beings. As a professional trader, you need to learn to accept that losing trades are part of a winning system. And you're not a loser because you had one losing trade or a number of losing trades, because your system makes money over time, if that makes sense. So that's the most important thing. If you only get one thing out of this session, that's the most important thing. Knowing what your edge is, and that if you don't have an edge, you should not be trading, at least not be trading with real money. And here's the next part of it. Just because you have an edge and you know what your edge is, still does not mean that you're going to be successful as a trader, because what do you have to do? You have to prove your edge. Now, it's not it could work for me, but you have to prove it works for you. Have you proven your edge? Have you proven that you can actually trade it? That's the key. Does your edge have a positive expectancy? And can you successfully trade your edge? Just because another trader can trade it successfully doesn't mean that you'll be able to do it. Much the same as just because another person can do a tightrope walk between two skyscrapers in New York City doesn't mean that you'll be able to do that if you have a fear of heights. So let me share with you now introduction to the TradeSmart Edge, to how I trade. And this is a way I've been trading for many, many years now. It took me quite a number of years to develop this at the beginning. And the reason I developed this is because I wanted to have a timeless way of trading that would never be, that would never change if technology changed. This is a methodology of reading the markets and what you can use to trade to actually give you a reading of the markets, and it will never change no matter what happens with technology. The reason that I went this approach is because I invested much time and money initially learning how to trade the specialist system of the New York Stock Exchange. And when technology changed and the New York Stock Exchange specialist was replaced by computers, partly human, the system that I'd spent a long time learning how to master and trade no longer worked. So I didn't want to ever be in that situation again. So when people say, oh, we've got all these algorithms and everything else like that, and I'm not worried about any of that because I know that this way of trading will never change. This way of reading the market will never change, no matter what's happening out there, because it's based on timeless principles of how every market moves. So we have training programs that will quickly teach you how to do this. The main program is called How to Read the Market Professionally. Part 1 of that program is How to Read the Trend, which is part of How to Read the Market, session 1 of How to Read the Market Professionally. I'm going to share with you, that was the course I was going to share with you of how you can actually do that for free, really today, if you wish. So this is the Trade Smart Edge. We look at supply and demand. We're able to look at the markets and understand where those levels are in the market. Price always moves between areas of supply and demand in the market. So that will never change. We use something called price direction. When we look at any chart, we know what the current price direction is, as in is price going up or down. That's it. And the final thing that we look at in terms of when we're looking at one chart is trend. And again, we do trends slightly differently to how the books may say to do it. And we look at pivots, not traded floor pivots, actual pivots in structure, price structure. On the candlestick charts, a little different to how other people may be teaching it. It's not exactly the same. This is exact. It gives you a great reading of the market almost every time. And it gets you to see what's happening way before anyone else knows what's going on if you haven't got this training. And we bring an aspect of time. This is based on price. Supply and demand is based on price. Price direction is based on price. And trend is based on price or price and over time. But we also look at multiple time frame analysis, which gives us a bird's eye view, or we can zoom in and zoom out. So it's much like, say, being in a maze, for example, and you want to get out of the maze. How do you do that? So if you have someone sitting in a helicopter above the maze, they can guide you so you can see what's happening on the, right up close in the maze, and you can get directions from looking at the bigger picture. You see what I mean? So what I want to do now is let's jump into the live markets, and I'm going to share with you, a little bit of the markets today and looking at how to analyze it. Then what we're going to do is I'm going to jump into the foundations of trading, and we're going to look at how to take that knowledge of the market and put it into a system that will work for you. What system do you need to have in place? What's the framework, and what process do you need to go through? Okay. And again, no matter how you trade, no matter what system you trade, you need to do some version of this. If you do not do this, you will not succeed. I mean, it's just not going to happen. Okay. So let's jump into the live markets as of today. And what I want to do is we can look at the dollar, for example. Now, I'm going to show you something of, you can see I've got lines on the chart here. These are zones of supply and demand zones. So I'll give you an example from today. For example, this didn't happen yet until kind of our session today. So what happened is this moved down below this. There's a pivot here, creating a supply area. So when the US session opened, it was 8 a.m. Eastern time, and we're up here. So the market moved up, but it's into supply and came back down and then moved down. Lower high, lower low. Well, lower low, lower high, lower low, and now we came back up again. So you can see if you want to be on the buy side, you've got to be very cautious buying up in here into this area. Whereas what happened here is direction changed down, and the odds are we're going to make a new low, which is what happened here. So here's opportunity for 2 hours to actually be on the short side. Now, how would that play out? If you look at the euro, you could see there was opportunity to trade this up. And again, it's been in a very tight range. You can see if we look at the zones here, this is a supply zone, this is a demand zone. The market's just been in this zone basically the whole day. You can see here between the zones. And we know what the next level up is as well. Now, we can do this, it doesn't matter, any market. And, you know, let's look at gold, for example. This is gold futures. Okay, let's see if these come up with the zones. So you can see we have zones drawn on the market. You can see we had this move down. Look at where we stopped and turned. This was ahead of time. This was a good buying opportunity over here. Here we broke the high of this kind of basing area, and then we pulled back, and then we made new highs there. And then we're coming off the highs. How do we know we're going down? Well, the market kind of fails to take out the highs here and comes down, and then we kind of have an opportunity to sell off the highs. Now we're still kind of holding this level. We've got another level down here if we don't, and we've got levels of supply above price. You can see why we stopped yesterday, a couple of days ago up here, and why we stopped and pulling back. You can see that. You can see the levels ahead of time. And again, this works on every single time frame. Now look at one more. We can let's look at Bitcoin. This is Bitcoin futures. And again, this was opportunities here to, if you know that this is a demand area, this was a buying opportunity last year. And we talked about this around this area. There was also a buying opportunity. We took out the highs here. There was also a buying opportunity here around this area. And you can see to take out the highs. Now, we know many times when the market takes out the highs, we have what I call a reversal bar here. So this is the top for now. Okay, this is market's most likely going to pull back or consolidate. And you can see once you know that, you can see, you know, market's not able to get above here. Here it's a bit tricky today because we took out this area. So generally, this could be a buyable pullback. If we stay above here, likely we're going to go above this area now. So we know based on what the market does, what the next move is likely to be. Now, one more actually, because this is super interesting, is the yen futures. Now, look how perfect this is. We called this as well. The market came here. We said we're going to break the lows here. Now, you can see we came down, but look at what happened this month so far. We came all the way back up and stopped right at the level that we broke down. You can see it also on the weekly chart, exactly there, look, and it's coming down again. Once you know that, for example, this is what we traded on the long side this week. We've been on the long side of the yen pairs because the yen's been going to the downside. Knowing why, knowing this is a downward moving market, what's a downward moving market? Even though this is showing bullish price action, we're having this move down, and we're coming into an area now. You can see here on the 4-hour chart where we could catch and start moving up again, at least temporarily. So this is why we're getting this sort of price action. So knowing that, we took trades on the yen pairs on the long side earlier on this week, and we've been long basically the whole week, even though I did take earlier on in the week a short trade because that was what happening. I took this move down for that hour because that was at 8 a.m. on Monday. I said, see, the market turned here, came up, and you can see how we've gone above this area and potentially may go higher, but we're close to this level. You can see these levels are marked out on multiple time frames. Okay, I wanted to just give you a flavor of how to start to look at the markets across multiple time frames. And again, look at where we stopped here. I mean, knowing that look at where we stopped, spot on. This is on the monthly chart. You go and have a look exactly where I mean, we can zoom in. It's exactly at these highs. The market stopped exactly there and came down on a smaller time frame. So this is being in the helicopter and having a bird's eye view to know that this market, when it's zooming up here, it straight into supply. Look what happened. It got knocked down pretty hard. So knowing that you don't want to be on the buy side here, if anything, you want to be on the sell side up there. So understanding location, understanding where you are, what the trend is, and again, putting it all together gives you a pretty good reading of the market. I was audited by a Princeton postdoctoral research fellow a number of years ago. I met him in New York, and he wanted to go through, he went through, I think, about 7 or 8 months of data of mine. And the accuracy of this was way back when, I think we may have even gone up since then, was around 85%. Okay, on reading the market, 85% of what we see happening and the levels, they're working 85% of the time. It's pretty high. Okay, and I think we've got recently maybe up to even close to 90%. So you're going to be right when you read the market this way and you understand the levels and you master it yourself, the opportunity to be right 9 out of 10 times on the reading of it. That's where it can go to. Again, obviously, you have to master it first. So let's go back into the next stage. This is gaining an edge, reading the market, understanding, this is a framework for reading the market. Within this framework, you can find a way of trading that fits your personality and lifestyle, a time frame that you can work on. Again, you may want to be day trading. You may want to go down to smaller time frames as you do on the 1-minute chart. You may want to scalp. You may want to be, again, it's entirely up to you. But the principles of trading are exactly the same no matter what time frame you're trading on, no matter what instrument you're trading. Okay, so let's go into the trading framework. Now, this is very important. This is a quote by Mike Hawkins. You don't get results by focusing on results. You get results by focusing on the actions that produce results. So most people are focusing, and I know this was something I found very intriguing with my trading. At the beginning, I was focusing on making a certain amount of money in a month. And I used to get to, a few dollars away from it. And I used to sometimes try to push to get a few more extra dollars when, and ended up, losing a lot on the last day of the month, for example, and not because I wanted to get to that goal. And what I should, in hindsight, you learn that is I should just say, okay, what I've done, I'm a few dollars away. I'm not going to reach that exact goal, but it's close enough. But I was like very kind of particular about trying to get to those kind of money goals. And what you find many times in trading, if you focus on the money, you end up losing money. If you focus on the process and the process works for you and everything, then you end up making money consistently, or you've got a higher chance of at least of doing that. So again, you don't get results by focusing on results. You get the results by focusing on the actions that produce results. So don't focus on the profits or the losses. Focus on what you need to do to get that. And this is what you need. Again, you need to have a trading plan. Without a plan, you can't have the discipline that you need to be a trader. And within that plan, you need to have money management rules. Otherwise, you're going to end up maybe blowing up an account or two, and you don't want to be in that situation. So you have to have risk management, different to money management. Risk management on a per trade basis, for example. Money management may be a bigger picture view of how many open trades can you have, how much risk can you have in one go across your whole portfolio or whatever you're trading, if you're day trading. And you need to have at least one trading strategy in your trading plan. Now, that's the plan, the planning part. Now you need to actually trade and log your trades, because if you don't track what you're doing, you cannot improve. Whatever you don't measure, you can't improve. That's a fact. If you don't measure it, you can't improve it. You've got no idea what you're doing. And so you need to log. You need to know how to log as well. Okay, it's not as simple as your broker's trading log. No, you need much more information about than that. And you also need to know how to journal. Yeah, journal's different to logging. It's more of, for example, why you did the trade, how you were feeling in the trade, what emotions were running through you. If you made a mistake, what caused it? What were your thoughts when you took the trade and it started to move towards your stop, for example, or moves towards your target? What are you thinking to doing? How are your emotions? Are you feeling relaxed? Are you sitting on the edge of your seat? And that sort of thing. So let me give you an example of the trading process. Now, this is very, very important as well. This is why choosing the right kind of goal is important. So based on a recent meta-analysis, this is some research that was done in the performance and psychological effects of goal setting in sport. This was a systematic review and meta-analysis on the impact of goal setting on performance, found the following. This is very interesting. Process goals had a large effect on performance, process goals. And we're going to be discussing now the process. Performance goals had a moderate effect, but outcome goals had a negligible effect. Isn't that interesting? Outcome goals would be, I want to make a certain amount of money in a month. Performance goals would be, I want my batting average to go up, from 50% to 70%. But process goals are, what am I going to do to get that result? If you focus on the result, but you don't know what you're going to do to get that result, then how are you going to get that result? So you need to put a process in place. It's, for example, exactly the same thing as focusing on dieting, for example, and you want to lose a certain amount of weight. But what are you going to do? What process are you going to put into place? What are you going to do to get there? Focus on that more than the results, and you'll have a higher chance of getting there. So what do you need to have in your trading process? You need to have routines, for example, that you go through so you can build habits. Habits are routines that you do on a regular basis. A routine would be like a morning routine that may involve brushing your teeth and having a coffee or whatever you do, or some meditation. That's a routine. You do it. You don't have to think too much about it anymore. Once it's done enough times, it becomes a habit. So routines become habit. You need to do some form of preparation before you trade. And I always say this to my traders: you need to ask yourself 2 questions. Am I ready to trade? Before you start trading, ask yourself a question. Am I ready to trade? Am I in peak performance state? Yeah. Am I in the best state to trade? Am I focused? Or whatever you need to do to get yourself in that state. Some people meditate, some people exercise, some people pray. You could do whatever you want. Whatever works for you. Find something that works for you and ask yourself that question before you trade. Am I ready? Don't try and trade when you're rushing out and you need to do something, you're under time pressure. It's not a good idea. And the other thing to do is don't trade if there's nothing to do. If the market's not ready and it's not doing anything that looks vaguely interesting, it's not showing you your edge, for example, then there's nothing to do. So don't do anything. So you could be ready, but the market's not ready. You need both. You need to be ready and the market needs to show you your edge. Then you've got to trade. So what do you need to have in order to do that? You don't just jump in the market and randomly take trades. You need to have patience. You need to have patience to wait for the market to set up. And you also have patience with yourself as well to make sure that you're ready. And one of the other things that you need to have is discipline. Discipline is following also the process that you need to go through, the process and your trading plan. So having a trading plan, but no process in which you're going to use that trading plan is like having not a plan. It's a bit like having a map. You say, oh, I've got a map, but what do you do with that map? That's the process. You understand? You need to have a plan. That's the map, but you need to know what to do with it. That's the process. And I'm going to share with you an example of what you can do with your trading starting tomorrow or today even. And then you need to have something about your psychology and emotions. Now, I think, as we said earlier, if you know what you're doing, it's going to be much easier to manage your psychology and emotions. But there are things that you can do. For example, being mindful, being present. You can work on making sure that one of the things that's very interesting is being aware of your physiology, for example, knowing that when you're in a state of flight or fright or freeze, when your sympathetic nervous system is dominant, then your body is getting ready to run away from a danger or a perceived danger. It could be a real physical danger. For example, a tiger could be chasing you. But what happens is physiologically or biologically, your body changes. The chemical processes and the biochemistry of your body changes. Blood rushes into your muscles. Your blood thickens, for example, and it may move away, shunts away from your digestive system. That's why some people under stress, for example, may have problems with digestion. You may feel it in your stomach. And it's doing all that because it's getting your body ready to run away. Now, also what happens is your logical kind of reasoning skills get kind of shut down. The prefrontal cortex doesn't work as it should do. That's why many times if you ask yourself a question, I'm in a trade, and I've entered into that state of fear. Now what happens is you're in a state that you need to get out of. You don't feel comfortable. Yeah. You guys relate to that? When you're in a trade and it starts to move against you and you enter into that fear, into that flight or fright, you're like in a fear state. Now what happens is you almost need to get yourself out of that trade. You can't see the market for what it is because you're in a fear state. So what happens is you usually get out of the trade exactly where it turns around and goes to your target. And you can't see it when you're in the state of fear because your body is being taken over by, by other chemicals like cortisol, the stress hormone, and various other things are happening to your body physiologically that put you at a disadvantage as a trader. So if you're not aware of that, then you're not going to be able to make the best decisions. And that's why many times, as soon as you get out of the trade, now you see the market, you're no longer in that fear state, and suddenly you see everything clearly again. And you're like, well, what's going on here? And then it repeats again. So being aware of it can actually help you. Okay, so the question is, you want to make sure by preparing ahead of time that you don't enter into that state in the first place. And that's what we talked about before, having confidence. Confidence is almost, I think, the opposite of having fear. Being confident, if you're confident, you're not in a state of fear. And you understand that your strategy or the way that you're trading works and produces profits over time. So therefore, you're okay with having losing trades. I always say, in order to become a winning trader, you have to learn how to lose the correct way, because losing is just part of winning a winning system. Yeah. And the other thing that you need to do, as we said before, whatever you don't measure, you can't improve. So you need to measure your progress. You need to know, are you better today than you were yesterday? And again, I do that with the traders that I work with one-on-one, is that we measure, for example, how many mistakes you made this week and what those mistakes were and what was the biggest mistake. Now ask yourself the question, do you know what your biggest mistake is? Do you know what your biggest mistake was the last month, or since the beginning of the year? Do you know what you need to work on? The good thing to do is to figure out what your biggest mistake is and then focus your energy on fixing it and then move on to the next one. So you fix yourself one mistake at a time. So remember, process goals had the largest effects on performance, more than performance and more than outcome goals. Process goals. So focus on the process. I always say focus on the process and the profits will take care of themselves so long as you've got everything else in place. So here's an example. And again, you might want to write this down. And this is what you can do as part of your process to becoming a successful trader. And this is, again, the steps that you need to go through. And again, you might want to add a few more in yourself, but this is giving you an idea of what you need to do. You need to prepare yourself to trade. Okay. You have to do that. Then what you need to do is analyze the markets you trade with a view to finding trading opportunities. That's analyzing the market. You're not doing anything. You're not trading at the moment. I mean, it's part of the trading process. Look at the markets before you do anything and have a look at, are there any opportunities setting up? Then you need to do is wait for the market to show you a trading opportunity in your trading plan. Again, it must be in a trading plan. You can't just randomly take any trades unless it's in your trading plan, of course. Then when the market sets up, you take the trade. And this is what you should do as well. Take a picture of the entry so you can start to train yourself what it looks like before the market played out. Then what you could do is write an entry in your trading journal. Then manage the trade according to your trading plan. Okay, you see, these are parts of what I've put in bold here. These are parts of the structure that you need to have in place. The framework, okay? And this is the process of how to use that framework. Manage your trade according to your trading plan. Then take a picture after the trade is completed so you can see this was my entry, this is what I did, and then take a picture of what happened next, so that you know, did I get out at the right location? Did the market go on further? How much of the overall move did I actually get? It's good to know that. So you know, am I good at picking targets, basically? And then enter a trade in your trading log. And this is what the broker cannot give you. It can't give you, it doesn't know what strategy you're taking. It doesn't take pictures of your trade entries for you. And it certainly doesn't write in your trading journal. So these are things that you need to do in order to measure your progress, in order to know, am I improving? Because if you are improving, then we're on the right track. We're on the journey. to success, or at least, yeah, we're on the journey to success. But if we don't measure, we've got no idea, are we improving or not? And that can be, very difficult, to know if someone were to ask you, how are you doing with your trading? And well, most people just focus on the end result. Are you making money or not? But it's much more than that. You want to be in a situation of constantly improving your trading and learning and growing, even after you become a successful trader. And finally, write an entry in your trading journal. So today, this is what we've discussed. We've discussed a bit about psychology. We've also discussed about time management as a trader, about how you should allocate your time, and discipline. Those are the three things that we kind of touched on at the beginning. But we've also defined how do you get there. So we talked about how to define your goals, how to uncover your edge. But again, by having a framework to read the market and then from there derive your edge in the market. We talked about the trading framework, the plan, the log, and the journal. And we also talked about the correct trading process, what you need to go through step by step. These are the things that every trader needs to do. And again, ask yourself, are you doing this? Are you doing this? If you're not doing this, you're probably not successful as a trader. So the best thing that you can do for yourself is to start doing part of this. Maybe go through the recording of this when you get this and go through it again. But this is what I can say. The best investment you can make in life is in yourself. I think Tony Robbins once asked Warren Buffett, what's the best investment you make? What you made in your life? And he was thinking he's going to say Coca-Cola. And he says, no, personal development, personal, developing myself. He did a course, I think, on public speaking or something like that. And Tony Robbins' mentor was Jim Rohn. And Jim Rohn used to say, for things to change, you have to change. Okay, you have to step up. For things to get better, you have to get better. And if you become a better version of yourself, then it will make a difference to your whole life. So that's good to think it, but you have to let your knowledge lead to action. Okay, you're not going to get any change if you don't do anything with it. So this is what my offer is to you, is to unlock your full trading potential and join our live trading room. And I'll share with you what people are saying about the live trading room. This is Matt, and listen to it carefully. The trading room is very helpful in understanding how to go through the process. I've been trading for 11 years and I've not seen anything like what you do. Love how simple it is. I trade mainly options with trades that last 30 to 60 days. I've been looking for something I could use to day trade for 2 years now. I want to round out what I am doing with another source of profits. I have not been able to find anything I could execute consistently. I'm just paper trading with your system. I've been doing it for a couple of weeks now, and I've had far better results than anything I have ever tried. That's Kevin. This is actually within the trading room. Hey, Simon, you're always spot on. Really glad I met you. You have literally changed my way of thinking and life. Marcus. Simon is probably one of the best coaches out there with a heartfelt passion for coaching and a real understanding of how the market works. He helps you view everything in a new way. The way he teaches is also really good and goes through until you understand. I can honestly say I've gotten more out of this training than I expected. So here's my offer to you. David, maybe you want to put it into the room. Again, this is it, the commitment, 2 weeks. Live trading room, come and join and you'll see how we go through the whole process. We start with a weekly preparation session on Sunday, and then we have live session every day for around about an hour. It's not the whole day long. We trade the US Open, but we also discuss trades that we may be in or trades that may be setting up, longer term trades. For those of you who want to be in positions for long-term investment, like we've done on Bitcoin, and also swing trading and also day trading. We discuss all the time frames and we see what's setting up. And, for example, like on Monday, I day traded or scalped the dollar yen to the downside, even though the bigger move was to the upside, because that's what was happening right then in our trading. So basically I'll show you in a second, there's basically three options to join, but all of them start with a 2-week trial. The investments are only $127. And again, come and try us out. The reason why there's a cost in it and it's not free is because I believe that if you don't have any cost in it, you won't take it seriously. You'll sign up and you won't come and join. So I want you to get the most out of it by being there live. If you can't be there live, there are recordings. Every session's recorded and put out in the members area, and I'll show you that soon. This is the link that you can go to. It's tradesmartforex.com/trading room. And every 2-week trial, depending on what you pick, is $127. Now, I want to share with you, before we go into that, there's a facts action bonus. I'm going to throw in a free course of how to read the trend, which I said to you before, which will give you a very good start for the first 3 people to sign up today. And that is sold at $497. That's the actual price of it. It's not even the value, that's the cost of it. That's what it costs, okay? It's $497, and that's what it's sold for, and that's what people pay for it. And you'll get it, the first 3 people that sign up now will get that for free. So, which would also help you to understand what we do in the trading room if you've got no idea how to read the trend using price action alone. So let me show you what it looks like. So you can go to my website over here, and once you sign up, you'll get an email with your login credentials, and you can click on members over here, which will bring you to the live trading room. One second, over here, and you click on access now, or you'll get a link directly, and you come into the live trading room, and you can see over here, this is a schedule. This is how you register. You can also join our Discord community here by clicking there. You can look at today's session. Again, I would go and watch today's session. It's over here. Should be over here. It's taken a bit of time to load up. And we also have our weekly preparation sessions, which is also a standalone. You can see this is the session from today. And you can go through and you can see what we talked about, what to look at. We go through the markets. And again, you can go through this. I have people that are in our live trading room that don't come live. They watch the recordings, and that's how they prepare for their trading day later on in the day. And we also have the weekly preparation session over here. And we have the latest 2 sessions are always kept here. And for those of you who join the first 3, we'll also get access to, once I see that you joined, I'll give you access to how to read the trend, which is session 1 of how to read the market professionally. So, and you'll join a community of traders. So that's a fast action bonus. This is the offer again. If you join now, it's a 2-week trial. It's $127. I'll show you the actual checkout process now. Let's have a look. Go back here. So you'll come to this page, and if you click on Start Trial, you'll see there's 3 options. Now, whichever option you pick, you can cancel at any time, so you won't get charged. It's only after the 2 weeks where you get charged one of these. So if again, start here is probably the best place to do. And then what you can do is cancel it immediately. You'll still get a 2-week trial if you don't want to get charged at all after that. It's entirely up to you. Or just set yourself a reminder to cancel if you want, but most people will stay in for longer once you see the value of it. Okay, if you see the value and it's working for you, and you'll join together with a group of traders, and this may be what you need. Again, you'll see everything we discuss. It's not just trading, we kind of coach in there as well, and you can ask any question that you want. And we also have a Discord server where you can ask other members questions as well, and you can also trade with other people if you wish. So you click on one of those and you come to checkout over here, and you can see it says first 2 weeks is 127, and then after that, but you can cancel again at any time. And I've showed you basically how to get into that. So what we can do now is open up for any questions and answers. You're saying great presentation, thank you. And again, whether you join the trading room or not, I hope you gain value. And I want to say thank you so much for David for putting on this event and the service he does for traders as well. When I first started trading, we went almost 20 years ago, there was no online education like there is today, and it didn't exist. So you can literally find any flavor of trading that fits you. I focus primarily on the foundations of trading, on market reading using price action alone, no indicators at all. I focus on the process of trading because I think those are the two things that are much overlooked, or maybe they're not made explicit by other traders in the same way. So this will help you get on track, give you a framework, give you a process, give you a kind of a foundation in what you need to become a successful trader. If you want to take the next step as well, and again, come for 2 weeks and join our live trading room, and then you'll see how we do it in practice every single day. Every single call we've made this week has been spot on. We haven't had complete winners this week in the trading room. Every single trade that we called out, a winner. Everything the market we said to do, even a couple of moves ahead. We sometimes look a few moves ahead of the market. We say the market's going to move from here to here, but it's going to be move there, but we really want to be on the short side. So we're looking for it, and we're knowing what our expectations are before the trade, before we enter the trade. So based on what the market's doing, and then we know that we can kind of flip the position and look for a short entry once it gets to our target. So we don't outstay our welcome in the market. We know exactly where to get in and out. Okay, so I want to take this opportunity again. Yeah, thank you for saying thank you for those of you who are here. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate all of you for spending your time here. And I hope, again, that you got something of value. Again, huge thank you to all of you for attending. I have a YouTube channel, and I intend to be more active on in the near future. But the best way to really see what we do on a day-to-day basis live is to come and join our live trading for 2 weeks, and you will see what we talk about, what we train, put into practice every day in the live markets. This is the link, tradesmartforex.com/trading room. So huge thank you to all of you. If you have any questions, then feel free to type them in the chat area, or you can email me at, I think we've got maybe here, at simon@tradesmartforex.com. Okay, thanks a lot, David. Thanks, everyone. And it was great to be part of this.